Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Dean Clayton and welcome to SMAX 2022. Today is our SMAXpert Showdown SMAX app showcase. That's right, I couldn't get as many words very sounding the same as I could into that sentence. And if I sound a little bit different, as you can see, I am wearing a different headset today to a normal. After a few technical troubles on the last few calls, my Bluetooth headphones have finally given up. So I'm back to the, should we say, cockpit style headset for today's session. So hopefully we should be all good to go and you can hear me. If you have any questions as we go through today, feel free to post them in the questions, the Q&A as we go. We always like to hear a few questions and how we're doing. But today we're going to talk all about our SMAXpert Showdown SMAX App Showcase. And as we said when we started the SMAX event this year, we were doing things a little different in having our special round of SMAXperts who were going to take part in a weekly quiz, but also were going to be on the hook for building out a SMAX Studio app, or should we say some kind of feature functionality to extend the capability of SMAX as part of it, maybe tied to what we've been doing with the different themes of this event through automation, integration, or even getting started. So today's session is all about going through that, going through and showcasing some of the apps. We're not going to have videos of all the apps. We're going to showcase probably about 5 or 6 in today's session. And then what we'll do is we'll also upload them so they'll be available to watch separately on demand, slightly longer versions of the videos that we share today. So we'll just do a little bit of a, should we say, a mouche-bouche of some of the different apps that are that have been created. So as a reminder, we had when we started our SMAXpert Showdown, we started off with the 10 teams that are laid out as you can see there. Now, unfortunately, due to some should we say conflicting issues and people not being very well, the Super Supremes from Professional Services have had to drop out of the event. In terms of actually part of the competing, they are actually still have their app, and that will be something that we'll be bringing at a later point because they're really disappointed to not be able to share that with you. But we thought it best to kind of, rather than them having to rush and get something out very quickly, we thought we'd give them some time afterwards so they can do that, and then we can showcase that maybe as part of our normal SMAX user community calls that we'll come back to after SMAXtember. So if we go into the overall rankings and the scoring of the different teams, after 4 weeks of our weekly quiz competitions, where we've had those 20 questions, well, 24 last week for those remember the little extra ones that we did, but those 20 questions competing against Dr. SMAX. As you can see, no real change in the leaderboard overall. A little bit of, should we say, closer alignment of some of those teams. There's definitely a grouping of some of them into little groups. But SMAXimus Prize and Data Back and Out also were able to jump up a little bit as part of that overall quiz last week, which is good. Which is good to see. Okay, so with that, let's talk a little bit about those SMAX App Showcase and our review criteria. So before we get into the videos and what each of the teams have done, with the way that we've done those weekly quizzes, we were basically scoring the teams out of 10 based on their position, with obviously the 10 different teams. But there was extra points potentially available if they beat Dr. SMAX. That only occurred on a couple of the day by a couple of the teams in the middle of the event, but obviously made a little bit of difference because both of those teams are at that top of the lead with eSMAXers and SMAX City. Now, when it comes to the SMAX App Showcase itself and what we asked them to build, we have set out these 10 areas we want them as, should we say, review criteria or scoring criteria. We've got a little bit of a mixed actual scoring for each of these. So we're not going to break down into how many potential points they can have for each of those. But we wanted to highlight it before we go and showcase the apps and the videos that we're going to present to you in a moment, just so you get a feeling of what we set out for them. So first and foremost, as part of that, was, of course, all about the application scope. And what we were looking for is, where does it fit in regards to, should we say, the standard 3 app SMAX app challenge categories that we have around creating catalog content, maybe update of an existing app, or doing something new. And of course, I think you could probably gather that if they were doing something new, maybe we might weight them with a little more points in that favor. The second criteria is all about ESM coverage. So when we talk about ESM, we're talking about enterprise service management solutions that we have within Micro Focus. So that is obviously, of course, the various products that are interlinked with SMAX. So obviously you've got SMAX itself, you've got the cloud management capability that comes with HCMX, we've got our automation capability with operations orchestration, and of course our discovery capability with CMS and universal discovery. So this was more of a case of, maybe they get some bonus points if they incorporated some of the other products as part of that solution, just to broaden the scope of it. That then brought us into criteria 3, which is all about the actual use case that they're trying to do and any innovation around that. So maybe it's a case of, they've looked at it from something that customers, they feel like people they've spoken to, customers they've spoken to, or maybe even people that don't have SMAX today but who have been talking to us, kind of an area that they might be interested in and could definitely be used in the real world, but also then in that whole kind of innovation space, doing something maybe a little bit out of the ordinary, out of the box, to what other people may have thought about. Then with our 4th criteria was all about, of course, our SMAX September themes. So with getting started theme, our automating with SMAX theme, and also our integrating with SMAX theme. And I think you can figure out that probably 2 of those are very primed and definitely something that could be incorporated into a SMAX Studio app. We then also wanted to look about, we know with our SMAX experts, and we know that we have a few people around SMAX that have been with us on this journey for quite a while, all the way back from 2017 with the first version of SMAX, and have worked on obviously some of our previous products. But we also wanted to wait and give a few extra points for those that are looking to incorporate recent SMAX capabilities, so things that have maybe come out in one of the last 2 releases that we've had. So things like portal settings and the way that you can embed additional functionality within the portal. That was something that we felt that was definitely worth us highlighting and giving some extra points towards. Then, of course, we're down to completeness. For us, all the apps that are part of this SMAX Showdown, we want to make sure that they're available for free from the Micro Focus item marketplace for you and the people you know and the other customers to be able to download and install and configure within their own environment. So this was also making sure that from a completeness perspective, that it's able to be utilized pretty quickly off the bat. So the documentation around having details about what to do with roles, for instance, maybe having reports or dashboards incorporated into it, maybe thinking about entitlement if there's something related to the portal. So things about that more well-rounded within the product. And of course, as part of that, we also want to make sure that people are following our best practices. There's obviously a couple of recordings that we have available on the session catalog that you can watch, all about best practices that were done by my good friend and colleague, Brindusa, where she's done one session in general SMAX best practices and one about service catalog and catalog offerings. And I think they give a really good standard of how we feel is a good way to approach things. And if you haven't checked those out, I do recommend going and checking them out. They are available to watch on demand under the SMAX September 21 category in the session catalog. Of course, no matter how much you create of your catalog and hope that people will understand it, documentation is always going to be key. And making sure that there's either a user guide to how to use it or how to get it configured and initially installed. And that also then ties into number 9, which is all about presentation and demonstration of that. And probably today, that I guess is our way of kind of showcasing that to you, so you can see those presentations and demonstrations that the teams have put together. And then our final criteria, which we thought, we all live in a world where typically when people are building out studio apps, we want to showcase that they can be done quite quickly, but also from a customer perspective, when we're building it, whether you're a customer yourself or whether you're a partner or a professional services organization that's working with your customer, there's always a deadline to get something implemented and put in place. So for us, we gave them a submission time that they need to submit their app to us. And based on whether they brought it to us before or afterwards, we obviously gave them some appropriate weighting and scoring. So if it was delivered late, just like you might get into trouble with delivering a package late outside of in the normal world, the regular world, we felt it only fair to do that on that. And also that should also meant that no one got an unfair advantage around it. One other criteria which we've not listed here as well, but you may have, as we'll go through the next couple of slides where we and the videos, you'll notice that the sizes of the teams. Some of the teams are four people. Some of the teams, it's just 2 or even 1. So we've also done a little bit of weighting to take that into account because of the potential total amount of time that they could spend on what they've done. But we hope that gives you kind of an overview of where we're going with the showcase and our ultimate review that we'll do. And of course, those final scores for how everyone gets done will be something we'll be showcasing and talking about on Friday's SMAX Timber review and award show. So with that, we're going to move on now. We're going to go into the individual different sessions. But I will add, just as we're going in there, if you have any comments about any of the videos that you see or any of the apps that we've done, whether that's a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or maybe there's something in that you're unsure about from the video, or maybe something you've seen, please post into the Q&A and let us know. We're not going to necessarily read those out at the end of today's session, but we'll use that as feedback to help us with some of that scoring, but also feedback to the people that built the app. So before we release it publicly, we can maybe get some extra improvements in there. Okay, so let's go to the first of our SMAXperts teams, and it's the SMAX Assassins team. So it's our SMAX partner Whitlock with Kate and Brent. They have done a submission. It's actually an update to an existing app that they did previously. Actually, it's I think it was part of SMAX Timber 21 last year. And it's all about a to-do queue. So this is version 2 of that. Hopefully, if this works right, I will now launch the video that they've put together, and you can listen to them and what they've done. Okay.
This recording will demonstrate the to-do queue and the enhancements that were added per version 2 for SMAX Timber. So to start off with, the to-do queue is an area that contains all the tickets that a person is working on per their group or whether they've been assigned to them. That includes the areas of change, release, service request, incident, problem, and tasks. This can also be expanded to other areas of the application that have that need this collection of to-do records for the user to find all their work in one place. And to do that, we're going to look at the to-do queue right here. And what you'll see is this will be a list of the active records or tickets that the user is assigned to or his group is assigned to, and the module that they're from, including incident, change, etc., as I mentioned before. In this version 2 of the to-do record, we'll explore 3 updates that happen to it. The first one is the ability to update the parent record ticket or incident, service request, or change without having to go to that record. So in the past, we had to click onto view parent record link and then go and update the ticket from the actual record. In this update, what we've given the user the ability to do is click edit. And while you edit in the quick view or in the actual to-do record itself, when you update one of these fields, title, description, assigned group, or assignee, the updates will actually propagate back to the parent record, incident, change, etc., whichever that may be, and then the business workflow on those records will take place. So you don't have to leave the to-do queue to make updates to your ticket, which is a very time-saving activity. The next update that happened is the custom action was added called parent record detail, which allows the user to click on that and go to the parent record in the to-do queue itself or in the to-do queue record if inside of that record. Previously in version 1, there was a rich text field that had click to view this parent record or ticket in a link and a rich text field, and now it is a custom action that has been added in the queue and on the to-do record itself. So I can click on the to-do record, and then inside here we have parent record detail, and I can click on that, and it will take me to the actual incident where I can perform more detailed updates if I need to. Okay, back on the to-do queue, the final update we have is the priority field was updated along with the to-do queue form to give it a better user readability format. So in the previous version, the to-do record, the new, full, and preview entries were a little scattered and they didn't flow very well. So in version 2, we've updated the to-do queue form so that it reflects parent editable details, static details, etc., all contained in their own sections, as well as updated the priority to use the list that's defined in the system for priority. So those are the updates that we've done to the to-do queue for SMAX Timber. Thank you so much.
Okay, I think everyone should have hopefully seen that wonderful work that SMAX Assassins team have done. So thank you, Whitlock team, for the work that you've done there. I think that's an awesome piece of work they've done around that to-do queue, which can be really useful, I think, for customers. And we know that that's actually one that has had some usage in the version 1 that they did with some of their customers. So hopefully that may score quite well when it comes down to it. Okay, moving on. Our second entry is from SMAX City, which is our Micro Focus technical success team. So we'd hope that they would be quite good. Now, they've done an app all around patient care. So basically being able to track and manage, we say, injuries and any care required for patients and maybe equipment that they need. Now, I don't have a video for this one, and there may be a reason for that, which you may find at another later point this week. But as I said earlier on, we will be making the videos available on demand. So look to see that video. They'll actually created a slightly longer video, which we'll publish, which will probably be around about 12 or 13 minutes. So it'll give you a good idea of what they've done there. But it's an excellent app that the team have put together. So I'd like to thank them as well. So let's move on to our next SMExpert team, and that is the SMAXtronauts. So this is one of our pre-sales teams from the international, from Europe, led by Isabel, who is one of our pre-sale leads in Europe. They've done an app all around service operations and service tracker. So looking at the way contracts and how they map into it. Now, unlike the other video where I think we had Brent from Whitlock talking over his video, this video, there is no voiceover. There is a nice bit of background music, which should hopefully keep you comfortable. But you will need to keep an eye on what's happening with that video. But it is a really good video. It gives a nice demonstration of, should we say, going through that process of creating tickets and how they're tracked and the application that they've put together. So with that, let's quickly launch our SMAXtronauts video. Okay, there's a fantastic video there by the team, the SMAXtronauts, that they've put together. So again, thank them for their what they've done. Seen some lovely comments so far coming through from people about what they've seen so far. So please keep them coming in. That's always good to see. Okay, moving on. Our third contestant, SMAXpert team was the SMAX hackers. And this is another one of our technical success teams. So obviously expectation high for this team and what they would produce. Their submission was called codename Skynet, or SMAX in Kubernetes yielding node evolution technology. It's certainly a very interesting and very different. And in fact, the video for this is a little bit on the long side, so we've decided to park the release of this video as part of today's session, but it will be available for you to watch on demand. We'll upload it. We'll probably upload it a little after today's session, a couple of hours from now, and make that available. But look out for that video. It's a really good, excellent piece of work by the team. Okay, moving on. To the team from another of our pre-sales teams. This is Pre-Sales Americas, led by Casey, who runs the Americas pre-sales for Micro Focus. They have done a submission all about remote support. And as you can tell, I'm deliberately avoiding the name because I always get it wrong. So Data Bacchanalia, who I've definitely pronounced it wrong for probably the 15th time at this event, have done a wonderful submission all about remote support. So let's play the video.
Well, that didn't work. I'm going to have to get somebody to help me find my, figure out why my printer's not working. So let me go to my service desk here, and I'm going to take a look for my collaboration. Hopefully these guys in tech support know what they're doing and can help me to fix my printer driver. Okay, looks like I have to wait a few minutes, and then I will talk to support, and they can fix my printer remotely.
So I am a support agent working the help desk, and I will be supporting Eric on this request. Leveraging automation and on-demand services. So as a support technician, I'm going to pick up this request and review it. So using automation, we have set up task plans that with this on-demand collaboration request that Eric put in, the Rust desk solution is automatically provisioned, and once the service is provisioned, Eric will receive a notification with a key code that he can use to connect with me so that I can support him. So when the end user Eric put in the request, the provisioning process began. So as you can see from this workflow, you'll see here that the subscription was created, the service was deployed, and now we're getting details from the Rust server to give to the end user so that they can begin the connection with the technician. So the request has now been provisioned. We now have information that the end user can leverage or use to connect with the technician. We see here that the entire work process, we see here that the entire workflow has completed successfully. So now let's go to our remote support request. For our remote support request, when we see here that here's the request that Eric put in, help me to fix my printer. As an agent, There's only one step that I need to perform. We see here that in this request, here's the connection information that Eric is going to need. So I'm going to go in here and say, make this active. And when I make this active, Eric now receives a notification with this same information that he can use to connect to RESTdesk. So we're going to switch screens, and Eric is going to share.
All right, looks like I've got my support technician has just sent me an email and is asking me to join them on a RESTdesk connection. So I'm going to switch over to my RESTdesk client. I need to go ahead and fill in my connection information. So we'll fill in my address, submit. I'm ready to go here on this side. So now I just need to wait for the technician to connect to my ID number. So I'm going to call up the technician and let them know, hey, Pamela, I'm ready to get some remote help to solve my printer problem. Can you go ahead and make a request to connect to my computer?
Yes, so I'm connecting now. This connection in progress. Okay, now I'm able to, yes, I'm able to see.
Yeah, it looks like you have control of my desktop, so that's great. All right, Pamela, take it away. You can fix my computer problem now for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. It looks like you're all set. Now that we've completed the remote support connection, we are going to close this request. And when the request is closed, our user will receive a closed notification email as well.
And fantastic piece of work there done, and thanks to Eric and Pamela for doing the talk through and acting, should we say, like the customer walking through that use case. Fantastic. Okay, next up in the SMAX Showdown is SMAX. This is one of the SMAX partners, Bazatec, based over in Turkey in Europe. Marat and the team have done a office desk reservation studio app. So I'm going to run the VT and we're going to get to see this one as well. All right, here we go.
Hello everyone. Today I will be talking about our studio app for the SMAX 2022 challenge, which is called the Office Desk Reservation System. And what it does is actually it enables users to make reservations in their companies, in their offices for the desks. The notion is to automatically reserve desks for employees. The application will work integrated with the service catalog. Any user will be able to reserve a desk for themselves by choosing the proper location and the date that they will work in the office. So in this way, we aim to manage the density of employees in the offices and the usage of desks in companies in a hybrid working system. So we can start with the reservation. So let's say I'm making a business trip to Istanbul on the 24th of September, and I want to see which desks are available. And I see the list here, and that there are many rooms and floors and desks. But I can also see the reservations made by other people with the same organization and the same on this date in this location. Let's see if I have any friends. And when I check it, I see I have one friend, he already made a reservation on the first floor, first room, and he reserved the second desk. So maybe I can reserve this one, which is next to him, so we can discuss business, for example. Let's submit our request. Now there is an approval task behind that is working, so it's going to ask the approval of my manager. Let's say I am the manager. I'm the manager of myself in this demonstration. When I approve it, I want my reservation to be automatically closed, and I want to see some sort of proof that it is reserved. And in the solution part, I see it is reserved for this date, for this location, with this ID. And in the background, it actually does this. So I can show you here in the office desk reservation part, in the desk reservations area. It's the name of the reservation, location, the reserving person, room. And when I click on this room, I should see it reserved. The phase of this desk should be reserved as it is. So there is also the cancellation part of the application. For this, you don't need any approvals. You can just choose a reservation, choose from the active reservations, let's say this one, because there's only this one in this case. Submit. So when this is done, I want to see the solution. It says canceled with this information, and when I check it here now, when I refresh it, I should see that it is unreserved, and also the desk reservation record should also show that it is done and my reservation has been canceled. So that's it. Thanks for listening.
Okay, fantastic work there done by Bazatek. I think that's an excellent reservation, office reservation thing that they've done there. Looking forward to seeing that one out on the marketplace when we get it published. Okay, moving on. Only a few more to go. So Chris from Unlimit IT, or the Alt, as his team name is, has done one all about canteen management. That's right, managing everything to do with the canteen, the menus, what meals are being planned, stock control, that kind of thing. Now, Chris has put, and you say, this one, unlike some of the others, it's just Chris on his own. Chris has put us a couple of videos, but they are slightly longer. In fact, he did actually send a 30-minute video as part of his submission, giving a full video overview. That'll be one of the ones we'll make available offline to watch, but maybe you might see more of that in one of the future sessions this week. Who knows? Okay, so moving on. Next up is our another one of our pre-sales teams, another one from the European international region. So this one, Virgil, Matteo, Ignacio, and Lorena, Smaximus Prime, who even was one of the ones that came up with our own logo before we even thought of doing logos. So thanks to that. They've gone a slightly different route. They actually submitted a couple of different apps to us, and some of those we've actually put into the standard SMAX app challenge. So you may see something about those on the end of this week. But for the SMAXpert Showdown, the decision was to go with their Jira integration, which they've done, all based on the integration engine. And just like one of the ones earlier, this is a video with no voiceover. It is purely just watch it and you will see it all transpire. So take note as it goes. But I think it's a fantastic video showcasing that integration capabilities and how to do that integration with Jira to manage some of your bug tracking. So with that all said, let's roll VT. Okay, that's it. Another fantastic video there. I think that's a really good example of having to build out that Jira integration and so doing that bug tracking type capability. Of course, other bug tracking applications are available, such as Micro Focus Octane, but I think it's always good to showcase what else we've got there as well. Okay, coming up now, the last of our teams to showcase today, and certainly not the least. And some might even say maybe we've saved the best till last. I certainly know that Joel would like me to say that, so I'm obviously saying that on his behalf today. So the Vikings, another one of our pre-sales teams, but also with the partner Materna from Germany, or Sweden, sorry, from Europe. They have put together a reservation management. It's kind of covering a couple of different use cases around reservation management and showing calendaring as part of that. I don't really think I need to say much else, and it's probably best if I just run the VT on this one. So, best thing to say is sit back, put the music up loud, and enjoy. Well, there we go. That's the Vikings there with their reservation management video. I hope you enjoyed watching that one, just like all the others that we've had today. So, as we said, those are the details on the SMAX Studio apps that have been put together by our SMAXperts as part of the SMAXpert Showdown SMAX app showcase. And we'll be announcing the winners on the award show on the 30th. That's right, this Friday. Can you believe it? We're almost at the end of SMAXtember. Wow, what a way to go. So, just the notices as normal to end on. So as always, if you have had one of your trials and you're having any issues on it, please feel free to raise a support request via the SMAXtember SMAX portal. If you have any queries, feedback, maybe issues accessing the SMAXtember portal, or maybe there's an issue with one of the videos when you try to connect to it, or if you just want to tell us how good we are, or maybe have questions for us within this Enterprise Service Management product team, feel free to reach out to us at smaxtember@microfocus.com. We're here always, almost 24/7, ready to help and hear from you. Okay, so with that, we're Tuesday's down. It's now on to Wednesday, just 3 more to go. So tomorrow, it's all about customer use cases. So as always, Wednesdays have typically been based on what we're doing with customers, should we say, things that are happening in the trenches with our customers and what they're doing. Tomorrow is going to have some of that, and there's going to be quite a few little tips and tricks that we're going to share with you from a lot of little different customers. So not necessarily a customer speaker like we've had in the others. This one's going to be a bit more of a, should we say, tips and tricks type session, but should be a really enjoyable session to watch. And of course, you'll have to put up with me again, unfortunately, this week. So same time as always. We're always live at this same SMAX time of 5 p.m. Central European time, and potentially 8 a.m. PDT if I have got that correct. And on that basis, we'll see you tomorrow. And thank you again for joining us on another SMAXtember session. Thank you.